Hey everybody, welcome to Southern Renaissance. We are here in Boaz, Alabama with one of my good friends here, Eric Frank.
What's up?
What's up, Eric?
Hey, man.
It's good to be here, man. Thanks for having me in your home.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Tony.
To do the podcast. We've known each other a long time. We go way back.
I had long hair.
You had long hair.
And you had a long mohawk.
Oh, yeah. I've had so many hairstyles. It's hard for me to remember all of them.
Yep.
Well, you're originally from Coleman, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, where are you from in Coleman originally?
East Point, Gold Ridge.
Okay.
And then I went to school in high school at Cold Springs, but I still lived at East Point. I kind of had two places to live with my mom and dad, so I was in two places really.
Okay.
But mostly East Point.
Nomad.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
You lived at, every time I hear East Point, I think of that East Point tire.
East Point tire, yeah.
I actually lived inside of a tire, giant tire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, well, what brought you to Boaz? I know you've lived over here at Boaz for a little while.
Well, a girl.
Every time, that's what does it.
And a job. So yeah.
Both of those things are important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, Boaz, I've always thought it sounds like a fancy jewel or something. Like I've got a Boaz necklace or something like. It sounds kind of like topaz or something to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a biblical name actually.
Is it really?
There was a dude in the Bible named Boaz, I think.
Oh, I think I remember that.
I think so.
Oh yeah, it's not like they didn't go with like Elijah or
I don't
know. Some of the other ones.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
They forgot.
I thought you were pretty old, man, but I didn't think you were like around like whatever 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. Maybe 100 years ago. I don't know how old Boaz is.
If you've been around that long, you may be a vampire or something.
I met this dude from Transylvania, and I said, "Did you ever see any vampires there?" And he said, "Well, I lived there for 200 years, and I never saw one."
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. That's good, man. Well, I know I guess we first met each other at Baker Productions, right?
At Charlie's, yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah. It's great.
Charles Manson. That's when no, I'm just kidding. Charles Baker.
Yeah, I learned a lot there. Yeah, he liked to do things like throw me in there on the board with a session going on and walk out and say, "Do it."
Yeah, man.
What?
I think it's a good way to learn.
It is.
You just have to throw yourself in the fire. Yeah. It sucks when it's happening, but then you're like, "Oh, I learned that," or "I learned not to do that."
Well, that whole thing looks crazy when you look at the whole thing, but when you figure out signal path, it's like. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Like when you look at that giant console, but then you realize, each channel is exactly the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you did some cool stuff in there. So is that, I'm trying to remember, is that how you started? You started in the studio? He had like the multimedia empire. He had the music store upstairs.
Right.
And then I had the TV
zero
station.
To do with the music store.
Okay.
Yeah, I started out in the production area doing recording and duplication.
Okay.
With the cassette machines.
That's right. I forgot about it. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole empire was like a TV station, the music store upstairs, the audio recording studio,
video studio,
and then it had the dupe room.
And Larry had photography.
And then they also had WXXR, the radio station.
Yeah.
So it was the whole thing, man.
We did installations and live sound too.
That's right. I forgot about that part. I
think you and I had a couple of live sound things get stranded in the middle of a disaster a couple times.
That sounds about right. I think my life has been such a disaster. It just all runs together. It just all sort of blurs.
Yeah.
Man. But I know you recorded you've recorded some stuff in there in Charles' studio, and you had that band called the Flip Top Heads.
Yeah.
I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, we did that. It was me and John Bush. And John was cool. He could write lyrics. Like he'd come in with like a Burger King wrapper with a whole song scribbled on it. And I was like, okay, well, let's figure out how to do this. And but it was cool. We were able to use that studio and do that stuff. It was really awesome. And some of it actually still sounds pretty good.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting. It was like, and it's sort of, you hear some people doing that kind of stuff now, but you were sort of like almost like psychedelic type stuff.
It was psychedelic influence because I'm like a huge Hendrix nut, you know.
Yeah,
so
man.
It was Hendrix and Trower and all that, and that kind of really bled into it. But we did a lot of different styles, though. I'm that way. Whatever pops in my head is what I do.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I was doing a duplication job one time, and I'd always put one on test and be listening to it.
Yeah.
And Charlie came in and I said, hey, that band's pretty good. Who is that? He said, that's like 10 bands. I'm like, what? 10 bands? What do you mean? He said, that's a compilation from these bands in Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
And it sounded like the same band over and over, like it was like an actual album.
Okay.
And I said, dude, I thought that was just one band. He's like, no, that's 10 bands. But I'm the opposite. If I do 10 songs, it's going to sound like 10 different groups, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to make everything different.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you've always been like that. It's kind of, with you, you've got that great guitar sound, and you're able to play all that classic rock style stuff, like just classic guitar rock type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. But then you've also got the side to you that's like a songwriter, and you're not just a songwriter, like cliche songwriter. You, like you say, you do like all random types of music, and I love it because you're very unpredictable, but you're able to play the stuff that is semi-predictable, but it's like you got this thing where you can go all across the board.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I think it's kind of Adrian Belew influence on that, because he's a guy, he really does like really straight 3-minute songs, but the guitar in it'll be really stupid. You're like, what is that? You know?
Yeah.
And it's just really just a regular old song, but has weird sounds in it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that with me, I guess. Some of them are, too long, but most of them tend to be standard song style.
That's cool, man. Yeah. You've done, I don't know, I've heard you, I'm trying to think of some of the styles. For some reason, I always remember Goat Roping Girl. It gets stuck in my head. It's sort of like country, I guess.
That was the dumbest record.
I love it.
My friend Calvin Autry, I knew him from high school, and we used to, I'd go to he'd live with his grandpa over at Brushy Pond down at Cold Springs, and I'd go over there and like spend the night, and he liked to play blues, and we'd play blues till like we fell asleep. And later on, we were working together over here. He was working at the same place in the trailer plant. And I got this stupid idea one day. I said, let's just write down a bunch of stupid titles and then make the songs to fit the titles.
I like it.
And that's what we did. That was Roping the Goats. That's what that was.
Roping the Goats.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's so dumb. But it was fun. I think there was one or two actual pretty good songs on there, but most of it was kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And some of it, I don't know if it would be allowable now. This was in the 90s.
Yeah. We get away a little bit more back then.
Calvin, he passed away a couple of years ago.
That
was a bummer, yeah. We lost a couple of guys I used to play with, Spiegel too.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
he used to work at Baker's too. He worked up in the music store, I guess. Was he doing lessons? And he also, I think
everything.
Everything.
He played in the studio and all that. I remember when Baker's was up on 157, I was engineering up there, and this little band came in from Jasper called Shattered Image.
Shattered Image. Me and Jason Sims still talk about that.
And they started recording, and like the whole band, I was like, they're okay. But the guitar player, it was Spiegel, and I'm like, this dude scares the crap out of me, because he was like 16 and he could just do anything.
He was good, man.
Yeah, he kind of shocked the complacency out of me for a while there. I'm like, I got to tighten up.
I remember,
I might need to practice,
Yeah, he would be like shredding in the store there, and I'm like, I could barely play power chord at the time. He ended up playing with Leon Russell and some other.
He went
really
out
cool
of all
bands.
that, and he settled on blues. He just got where he just played blues all the time.
Yeah,
but he's really great at it. So
yeah, he was good, man.
He could do anything.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a good dude.
He was. Yeah, we had all kind of talented people come through there.
Yeah,
it was really great.
The unfortunate thing, though, is you had to work with the untalented morons, me and Jason Sims.
No, man.
And you reminded me earlier that we had the Midsummer Jam Baker Productions would put on and have a bunch of bands out there. And our very first band, Off, not the one with Keith Morris in it, but the one with me and Jason Sims.
It was awesome.
That was on the first episode. We got Roger Myers. He announced us, and he was like, "The untalented morons."
It was so funny. He looked so uncomfortable saying that.
Yeah, I can't believe he did it.
I remember all those songs, man. It was great. Monster Truck, Power Up, hit it.
Yeah, I had like a little... it was something off of an actual monster truck remote control or something. Wow. And it made little noises, and my pickup, I had like a $70 cheap guitar, and the pickups were real microphonic. Yeah. So I just put the thing up to the pickups and
it's great.
And make all the noise.
Sims was drinking Windex.
Yeah, man. It was a good time.
Come on down here and get free stuff. And he started throwing balloons at people.
Yeah.
It was so great.
We had to distract people from how much we sucked. So we'd like give them prizes and stuff.
Well, y'all were the only ones that got people down to the front. So
that's true.
There you go. Oh, man. Yeah, good times. I remember that guy, Charlie Klein, that used to come in there, too, the bluegrass guy.
Oh, yeah.
I recorded him a couple of times, and he got nominated for a Grammy once.
Nice, man.
But I was in the music store one day and had like a Charvel and a Marshall, shredding some stuff and dive bombing and junk. Yeah. And Charlie comes up, and he's standing there watching me. And I got done, and he says, "Let me see that thing." I handed it to him. He starts doing the same stuff I was doing. He's like, I'm like, God, come on, Charlie. I mean, you can play, everything. And those bluegrass guys are like that. They can play a lot of instruments.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, they're pretty much like country shredders, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's wild, man. That's funny, though. I just imagine like hearing Foggy Mountain break down with like dive bombs in it.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that. He was just playing back what I just did. He was like Van Halen,
Oh, he just heard it and he was like, "Oh, I can do that."
Instantly could do it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
I saw a lot of good bluegrass guys over there too. I got to do sound for Bill Monroe one time.
And never heard of
shred, man.
The king of bluegrass, Bill Monroe. That's that is crazy. You got to run sound for him. Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He is bluegrass.
He is.
Or was, I guess.
Yeah. Still is.
Oh, he's still alive?
No. But he still is.
No, he's
father of bluegrass.
No, like you retired.
It wasn't like that. It was a one show thing.
When you pass away, you have to give it to the next person.
Oh.
Like, that's what I just invented that rule.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a Tony rule. So.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, he is. That's crazy, man. I didn't know you had ran sound for him.
Yeah, it was the Bluegrass Super Jam.
Was it like a full band or was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was his whole band.
It was a whole bunch of bluegrass bands.
I guess that's if you're a bluegrass musician, it would be hard not to want to play with Bill Monroe. Yeah. It's like he probably didn't. He probably never ran out of musicians.
No,
that wanted
it'd be
to
like
play
automatic.
With. Yep. I'm there, dude.
I'll be there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, what is it that kind of drives you to write music? I know you've written a lot of songs. I mean, you've.
Well, I don't know. It's I always played in cover bands, and for like decades, for like 30 years, I was playing every weekend in a cover band, and but I want to do my own thing, and I like recording. I like the process, and I like, you can be as weird as you want to be. And where I'm at now, I kind of made money playing before, and now I don't have to do it, and I'd rather put down something that's still going to be there sometime down the road.
Yeah.
Because that $100 won't be.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
I could
makes
go
sense.
Play on the weekends, but I'd rather use the time trying to make something. And I'm kind of at the point where I just do whatever crosses my mind. And if people like it, that's good. And if they don't like it, that's good too. It don't matter.
That's right, man. And I've always bonded with you on that. It's like you're a true artist. Yeah. You're all about like creating something that your vision, is silly. If it's really silly, or you've written like really serious stuff too. I know. I get into. I'm really bad to let the comedy creep in. To try to make a song ironic or something. Like I got this song called Sunny Day, and it's got this really nice like Brady Bunch song poppy melody. Yeah. And the song's like the lyrics are really terrible about, beating your friend up or something. Yeah, man. And what's wrong with that?
I like duality of stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But I think it gets lost on some people, and it's kind of like, well, he's doing that same old stupid thing again.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's layers to it. It's not just like on the surface. It's like, it reminds me kind of the Smiths, how they would have like, like old more. It's kind of like
I don't like Mondays, from Boomtown Rats. It sounds like It sounds like a nice song, but it's not at all.
Yeah, but it's having the happy like rhythms and like it's like man.
But that's where I just like recording stuff. I like just trying to do things, and sometimes it's silly and sometimes it's serious. And I finally, like a couple of years ago, was it? Yeah, I guess it's a couple of years now. I actually did an all instrumental one, like a total vanity project.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna play guitar as good as I can for an hour, And there's some odd stuff on there.
Then what's the name of that album, man?
It's called. Wait a minute, I have to remember it. It's
sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
It's called The Liberating Nature of Irrelevance.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, nobody's paying attention anyway, so I do what I want.
That's right.
But I've got it on this platform now, streaming, and like you, I make Taco Bell money too.
Heck yeah, you know about the Taco Bell money.
But what's funny, it's this service called Sound Drop, and every month I get a report of where everything was played. Maybe they all do this, I don't know, but it's weird to look on there, and I'm getting played like in Israel and Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and stuff like that.
That's the cool thing about the internet is you get it's sort of the world kind of opens up. I love that about the internet.
I've got this song called Beef Curry, and it's based on a Indian dubstep beat.
Okay.
And it's got just shred on top with an octave or up in parts of it. It's kind of like Buckethead kind of stuff.
Okay.
And it's like really popular in places like India and stuff. And it just weirds me out, but it's great.
Now, you were talking about Buckethead. I know you've got some great musical influences like Buckethead.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of some of your other one. You were just talking about somebody else.
Adrian Belew.
Paul
Gilbert.
Yeah.
I got to where I like Gilbert more and more. He's kind of getting into he's just not all shred now. He's kind of mixing it with some blues style stuff and kind of making real artsy stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's good. He's got some really cool videos out. But I like him a lot. And a lot of these, Guitar God guys, I study them some and
yeah,
like
man.
them.
Well, that's the thing about you. It's like I know people that can pull that off, but then I know other people that are weirdo, like singer songwriter, outsider artist.
Yeah,
but you're like both. You're like you're able to, and it's like you're in one person, and it's so cool because you can just come up with these like.
It's because I'm schizophrenic.
I hate when that happens. You're like, yeah, you're just casually, so I was shredding over this dubstep beat, and then I did this, and it was played in Israel or whatever.
Yeah. It's something to be amused with.
I love it, man. I love the creativity of it. Well, do you remember? It was me and you. Like you did most of the thing, but I think you came in and had me like do guest vocals screaming on where my homie is.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was silly.
That was silly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff.
Charlie got mad at me. He thought I was trying to break his speakers. Remember? He come in yelling at me.
I don't remember that.
Are you trying to blow my speakers up? No.
We weren't trying to, but that's just an after effect.
Oh well.
Yeah, I didn't know.
My ears were burned out.
Yeah.
So, I used to get that a lot, burnout from hearing, processed a lot of stuff on these phone heads all the time.
Oh yeah, man. It
blow them out.
I know. I Cindy catch it. She'll be like, "You're talking really loud." Well, it'll be really late. I'm like, so anyway, like, you talk. Oh, sorry. You just don't think about it because you're used to talking loud. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, you're the one that recorded our first demo.
Oh, Skank Williams Jr.
Before that, even I think you did off like the 4-track.
Did I?
Or the demo? Yeah, like we were over at Adam's house. And I think it might have been your 4-track you brought over. If I'm not mistaken.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too. And the other day I was like, wow, he even did that because I remember that.
You recorded at my house over here on that little Fostex one time too.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's what I recorded Roping the Goats on, that little Fostex 8-track.
Yeah, and it had like one channel out, right?
So, something was wrong.
I remember
it was a 7-track.
Channel.
Yeah.
You're just trying to be different.
The less tracks you have, the better songwriting you need.
I agree, man.
That's true. I mean, like these 50 guys you like, they have one mic in the middle of the room and no dubs or retakes.
Exactly,
so
man.
The song's got to be something. You can't do what I do and just throw 26 tracks at it and then cut the ones out you don't like.
Yeah,
I don't do that every time, but I do it sometimes.
It's fun though, man, especially for your kind of some of your style with that psychedelic stuff and like being able to layer all that stuff. I know that works cool for that.
That song, Touch the Truth, that we did.
Oh yeah, I love that one. That's a good one.
It had 6 guitar tracks. 2 of them were backwards. People ask me, what's that keyboard at the start? Oh, it's 2 backwards guitars. And, it had, I think 3 or 4 vocal tracks. It was all me. And it just had a bunch of stuff. It took me like 12 hours to mix it. It was there was a lot to it, but it still sounds pretty good. So
yeah, well, I was thinking too. I almost forgot about this, but I remember me and Jason Sims coming over your house at some point. I think it was your 4-track again, and we're recording almost like a rap song, like we were doing CRMC, but then you were playing the lick from On Broadway for some reason. You're like, dah, 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 and we're like, yeah, and we like pitched it down, so it sounded like Notorious B.I.G. or something.
Funny.
Yeah, it was weird. I wish I had a copy of all this weird stuff we did over the years.
I've lost those old cassette tapes and 4-track dumps, and I used to stack tracks on 2 cassettes.
Yeah.
I recorded some stuff with my brother that was hilarious, and I've lost it. I don't know where the stuff's at. We did one based on that old Medical Alert commercial called I've Fallen and Can't Get Up.
That's a good one, man.
It was hysterical.
I love those.
My sons are waving at me.
Yeah, we got a crowd, man.
We got audience.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like an animal, like in a zoo.
That's right. It's like, come on, man, throw me a banana.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, who are the center lane drivers, and why won't they get out of my way on the interstate when I'm trying to like get to work? They're like always right there in the center lane.
That's what it's about, eh? Sorry, I went Canadian for a second.
Yeah.
All right, Hoser. Center lane drivers is myself and Darren Camp. And Darren is a guy like me. He's mainly a guitar and bass player, but he plays keyboards pretty well and a lot better than me. And, he can manipulate programs good and stuff. So drumming's not a problem. But anyways, he's always recorded stuff and I've always recorded stuff. And we do a acoustic duo playing out sometimes. And we decided this past year to actually record an album together instead of just contributing to each other's songs, and kind of shared the writing and, editing and whatnot, played different instruments on different ones. And kind of on this record, I don't know if it's really commercial or not, but the idea of it is it's for Gen Xers, because you always hear people my age, which is like ancient, going, "Oh, is somebody make a song that sounds like Leonard Skinner again?" That people don't make music like they used to, and that's kind of all we can do. So
that's your specialty.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 100 years. So we wrote these songs that kind of sound like they fall in a mode of maybe like, one might sound like Black Crowes or something.
Yeah.
Or, might say 70s and 80s and, early 90s kind of music. There's one song on there that kind of sounds like Alice in Chains, and but it's for Gen X.
Okay. So kind of like almost sounds like Southern rock mixed with like 90s alternative sort of.
It's not real far into the Southern rock, but he's a little more country influence and Southern rock influence than I am. I've always been kind of reactionary to it. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because Skynyrd songs are like some of the most fun songs to play that there is.
I used to hate that band so much, but now I love them. I think they're great. I would never play it or attempt to play it.
I like playing stuff like Call Me the Breeze and stuff. Yeah, man, you can you can wreak havoc with that. But anyways, so it's we try to make some songs that are a little more accessible to more people than just me. So maybe some folks will like it. And that was kind of the point. And, it's basic drums, bass, guitar, and keyboards, and kind of big vocals on a lot of it, because we're both pretty good singers and we do harmony well together. And some of it's got, like 5 or 6 people singing. So yeah,
cool, man.
That's the idea. And Center Lane Drivers is the name because old guys drive in the center lane on the interstate.
Okay, well that makes sense.
So it's kind of like, and the album's called "Are We There Yet?" Because it's kind of it's funny, not funny.
Okay, I got you. Funny, not funny.
Yeah. You mean a destination, or have we made it?
Okay.
Yeah, but
cool, man.
I don't worry about that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah, you just kind of do it. I mean, it seems like some of the best stuff I've come up with, and I talk to a lot of people like this, is just like random. You're just like, hey, I want to do this, and you don't really think about it too much. And
there's a song on there that I did, and I was in my little studio out here, and I did this song like completely from starting writing it to being done in 2 hours.
Man.
I'm like, it just fell out. And I was just kind of randomly rhyming stuff.
Yeah.
But it's semi-cohesive, and it kind of sounds like an 80s thing.
That's cool, man.
But it was really quick. And some of them, you've done this. You start writing something, think it's going to be great, and you fool with it and fool with it and fool with it, and you forget it.
Yeah. Well, that song I recorded, I haven't really, it's not been released like worldwide distributed or whatever, but some people, like you've heard it, that I Got a Feeling song I made.
I love that
like
song.
Marvin Gaye.
That's great.
Well, that was one take. I didn't have any lyrics for it other than, okay, the chorus is going to be I Got a Feeling.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to play this beat I created.
Yeah.
And that's how the song got created.
Honestly, I think that's one of the coolest things ever. It really is like a Marvin Gaye sounding song.
Oh, thanks, man. That's a huge, I love that stuff, man.
And it's so positive, and I could tell you were being spontaneous with it.
Yeah.
but the breaks were falling exactly right, and yeah, it was really cool. Everybody I've showed that to just goes, that is the best thing ever, And I send it to people if they're feeling bad and stuff.
That's cool, man.
Cheer them up. They're like, that's awesome. Thanks.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. It's not always, I'm not always going to come out with songs like that that were positive. I like really dark stuff too. So that was a rare, kind of like.
That's Darren too. I always make fun of him. I'm like, your songs are always so happy.
Yeah.
Because they're all, I'm dead.
Oh, yeah. It's that singer songwriter thing. I'm so sad.
I'm 6 feet under.
Yeah. I love those kind of songs.
And mine are just stupid. So
nah, man, they're good. They're good. They're funny.
Some of
and
it is
witty. They're funny and witty, but then some are serious. All your stuff is good, man, because
thanks.
You're talented musically, but you're also you're an artist. You try to come up with interesting things, and I can tell you're always like, well, what if we did this?
Yeah.
And what if I did this? What would happen? You kind of have that kind of mind.
I like to kind of think of the inverse of stuff, That's what my stupid book. That's what that was all about.
Oh yeah, you did a book. That's right.
Not much
for bringing that up.
But it was like me and my son Zane. We were watching TV, and there was some kind of a clip went by about a person talking about getting abducted by aliens. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if the alien got abducted by us? Like by some redneck guy, and he tries to get ransom for him. And so that's what the book's about. But it's basically a bunch of little stories of just Southern etiquette and mechanical things, just football stuff that I'm interested in. Most of the characters in it are based on me, actually, but it's just my goal with it. It's like 52 pages long, and I wanted to get a laugh on every page. So
yeah, man.
But it's weird. It moves along pretty good.
That's a great idea. So it's funny. It's like the now you're trying to get ransom from the other aliens. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
He's keeping the alien, and he demands a General Lee car. No, 3 General Lee cars.
Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable to me.
They have to make those and get them to him.
With their space metal and stuff.
Yeah. It's just funny. But it's called Alabama Alien Abduction.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Where can somebody find that?
It's on Amazon. Like everything. It's on Amazon. I think it's digital, or you can get a paperback for like $3 or $4 or something.
Cool, man. So yeah, definitely check it. Alabama Alien Abduction by Eric Frank.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man, I'm so glad I remember that now. It's my brain is just mush, man. I'm always done so many things.
Trying to figure out something, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, you're always creative.
I'll get an idea like that, and it's just I got to work it out. I just have to. Okay, I'm gonna see where this goes and try to see what I can do with it. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
I know it, man. That's the way your mind works. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think we've got so many dang stories from working at Baker. But I'm just thinking, I'm going back to your, I remember you telling me something about kind of when you were growing up, you were in the band, like the high school band, right? Sort of.
Kinda.
Okay. I just remember you said that you were playing, but you didn't read music. You were just like playing along. Maybe that was something different.
You're talking about Wallace.
Wallace. Oh, just college. Yeah.
I don't know if I should talk about this.
Oh, sorry.
I kind of faked a whole year in jazz band.
It really says something about your playing ability. Well, I didn't mean to.
I have this. I started playing really early. And, I don't know if it's really early by Japanese standards, but by here, my brother, Neil, he's my late brother. Anyways, when I was like 6 or 7, he had a Fender Duosonic and a Bassman 50 combo.
Cool.
And an LPB1 power booster. And he'd turn this stuff on and play along with Black Sabbath records.
Oh, nice.
And that was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life. And I'm like, and Neil could really play, man. He really could. And he used to play with those guys in Coleman, John Farmer and Roy Bell and those guys.
Yeah.
And Roy probably.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a little while.
He was at an electronics store over there for a long time.
Okay. Yeah,
Anyways, so I thought that was really cool. And so I told my mom, what do you want for your birthday on my 8th birthday? And I said, guitar. So she got me this Western Auto acoustic. And it of course, played like crap. But I then had to learn how to play it because she paid for it.
Yeah.
And so Neil showed me some stuff. And we got up to kind of bar chords and basic pentatonic scale stuff. And I kind of just went from there. But he used to, when he'd go to practices and gigs and stuff, he'd actually let me go with him when I was like 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
I could tag along and go watch him jam and stuff. It was very educational. And I learned a lot from it. But I was playing when I was 8 years old.
Oh, man. That is early.
Yeah. When I started playing with bands, my mom would have to take me because I couldn't drive yet. I was 15. So I was always in bands, and I had this ability to like work out a song really fast by ear.
Yeah.
So I never learned how to read. So when it was time in college to be able to read, I couldn't do it because I just get a general idea of where the note path was going, and I would sort it out.
Go with it, yeah.
And I kind of faked a whole year in jazz band.
I didn't even make it that far. I got a partial music scholarship.
I had a full ride scholarship, and I trashed it. I went 1 year.
But I was the same, but I couldn't even make it through the music theory class. I know enough now from just from playing so long, but I was the same way. I was like, this is math.
I know a little bit of music theory, but I can't read. You put a piece of sheet music in front of me, I'm just going to go.
Yeah. That's what I mean more specifically.
It's a 7th chord. I know what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
that's
a
little
minor,
different.
it's a major, the 3rd, the 5th, all that kind of stuff.
That's good.
But I can't read. But there's a lot of musicians that can't read. Did you know that Benny Anderson, the piano player in ABBA, cannot read music?
I did not know that.
I learned that about a year ago, and I fell out of my chair.
Man,
I can't believe Benny can't read.
And he plays a lot of like sort of classical influence type stuff too.
He wrote a classical concerto called Chess.
Man,
he can't read.
That's crazy. Because he's not just doing like happy pop songs, simple pop songs. There's some little bit of depth to some of their songs.
Yeah, he's got a different way of writing. Their music's different than everybody else's.
I think you probably led me into the direction of ABBA, because you were like, man, they're cool, and I was like, oh, okay, let me be open minded, and I listened to it. I'm like, okay, I can hear some stuff going on there.
Those girls could really sing.
It's interesting, just the instrumentation, just the way that it's sort of classical sounding, but also poppy. It's cool.
And I saw a little clip on TikTok the other day of Lemmy saying he liked ABBA.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
So it's okay. Lemmy liked it.
Lemmy likes it. We're good.
That's right.
So
exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, it's. I don't know. Weird stuff.
See, I knew we'd get on ABBA. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
This is like covert. Only reason I came over here so we could just talk about ABBA. And I was hoping we'd bring it up earlier.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, you know, some people say people don't know this about me, but everybody knows that about me. So,
but you like I know you like a lot of the heavier stuff like Sabbath and all that stuff too. You did a really cool and I don't normally get into like a lot of covers, but like you're like me, like you like to do it your own way. You did Kashmir, I think you did a cover of that.
Yeah, it was Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I did an instrumental one of it, and it had this cool other kind of metal breakdown at the end.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was different than the song. It's kind of a fast thing.
I remember that. I was like, man, this is cool because you're doing your own thing with it.
Yeah, I think I was using some kind of guitar harmonizer on it or something. It sounded pretty neat.
Yeah, I liked it, man.
I haven't heard it in a long time.
See, I'm bringing out all the past.
Yeah, see, you remember stuff I don't. Like my little brother, he'd say, "You remember that time we jumped off the house?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Jumped off the house.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, I'd never do that. Yeah, we did. Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Nice.
I think I blocked a lot of stuff out.
Yeah. What is it like? They say your brain does that if it's something really painful,
traumatic.
Yeah, your brain will automatically block it out. So maybe a lot of trauma.
That's why nothing wrong has ever happened to me.
That's why my life is perfect.
It's absolutely just pristine.
I knew it. I knew there was some trick. Just do so many traumatic things that you don't have to remember anything.
Oh, man.
Nice. I think we just figured out a life hack.
There you go.
Well,
John said if it ails you, throw it out. So
yeah, exactly. I agree with that, man. Well, and I know a lot of your bands and it's something about it's your musicianship, but I know you've had at least the several bands I've seen you play live in. It's been like a trio, but it's a very full sound. I mean, because you're doing a lot. You're not just a lead or a rhythm guitar guy. You can do it all, and you fill it out. And that's not easy. I've been in some trios.
You know what's great about that, though? When you're doing both, the dang singer can't cut off your solo.
That's true. Yeah, you're singing and play. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I had some good trios going with John and Greg Sandlin. And then later on, with Chuck Porter. Chuck is like he's like a bass god, man.
He's great.
Yeah, I'd be playing, and I'd hear him over there, and I'm like, golly, he's showing me up, and we had this thing going on like that, and it just made for there was a lot going on with just two instruments there.
Yeah.
And that was great. And, Randy, he plays so big on the drums too. So it was always really full sounding.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did have a really big booming drum sound. And then
Chucky is unreal bass player.
Yeah.
I love Chuck.
Yeah, he was cool, man. He is cool.
We were in a band. I got to tell you a story.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Tell you a story about my grandma.
This is a blues song?
Has something to do with Chuck.
Uh-oh, okay.
All right, so my grandma, I came in her house one day and she was really cool. She was a really cool person. Like she'd say wise stuff like, somebody do something really stupid and she'd say, well, it takes all kinds, She's one of those kind of people.
That's a pretty good comeback.
Yeah. Say, Grandma, why are you doing all that work? Well, when you quit, you die, She's right. It. She's always right. So I go to her house one day and she says, my friend over here, her grandson has a band that plays in the nightclubs and they need a guitar player. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't think much of it. She gave me the number and I called him and he said, okay, come on down. Come on down where? To the club. So the first night I played with him was actually in a club in front of people.
Oh, man.
Yeah, nerve-wracking, but I did fine. And that was the band that Chuck was in. And I kept playing him for a long time. And eventually, that led to me meeting my wife now. And now, everything's cool and everything's good. We got kids, and my youngest kid, has joined the Boaz band, and he's playing trombone.
Okay, cool.
And the band has been invited to play at the Normandy Parade commemoration in France in June of next year.
Very cool. Nice.
And while we're there, one of the days on the itinerary is for us to go and spend a day at the Louvre Museum in Paris.
Neat.
So, always listen to your grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is always good advice, man.
That's a roundabout story, huh?
Yeah, man.
Indirectly, I'm getting to do that because she told me that.
That's awesome.
Which is really cool.
Now, I'm just imagining you running around France with like a striped shirt on and like a beret and just carrying around some bread and stuff.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour. Yeah. Just riding a little bicycle.
Start acting like Brad Pitt. Buongiorno.
Yeah, man.
Oh, mercy.
Well,
yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, man, it's always interesting to see not just Americans but Southerners go to other countries. That's always a
well. Now I'm scared.
Culture shock. You'll be good.
Maybe this ain't a good idea.
Well, I know I think just in general, like universally, people just want you to just treat them decent as long as you're not a jerk. People are cool, you know.
That's right.
Unless they're jerks, and if they're jerks, I don't want anything to do with them anyway.
Me too. Steer clear.
So there we go.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
Well, you got any other than center lane drivers? You got any other projects you're doing right now, or that you're working on?
Well, no, not at the moment.
What about that cult you were starting? I'm just kidding.
I'm not big on cults.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I'm trying to think of one now that you said that. Yeah, I think we're gonna do a couple of videos. I think for some of the driver stuff.
Cool.
And try to promote it a little bit, you know, and see what happens. It's. I don't expect to make any money from it though. It's hard now. You can't make anything streaming, you know.
Yeah, it is difficult, man. I mean, Lars was right.
Yeah.
About the Napster thing, because it completely changed the game with the streaming. Now you make nothing.
Yeah, Prince predicted that too.
Yeah.
It's like, it won't be long until you just can't get any money for anything.
Yeah.
That's why all these old bands are touring. They
Absolutely.
got to do something to make money.
It's the only way you can make money. You have to do that, or you have to just be an entrepreneur and come up with your own clothing line and stuff like that.
Or sell your whole catalog for $75,000.
Yeah, that works. Man, I'd sell it
I couldn't sell mine for $75.
I was about to say, like, for maybe like, I'd sell that for like some tofu or something. I started saying hot dog, but I'm a vegetarian, so tofu.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. But
get tofu dog.
But yeah,
vegetarian chili.
Those I've had some of those.
I have too.
That's good stuff, man.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that, you know, it is what it is. That I just it's weird because there's advantages to the technology in some ways, but then it's like there's so much out there accessible, but then you get lost in the sea of like content. Yeah. So
exactly. And content, you know, that's another thing. We're talking about me playing in bands. I hit it just right for doing that because, you know, playing basic rock stuff that I liked in clubs and getting paid for it before the days of TikTok when there's a 10-year-old playing like Paul Gilbert. But there's a caveat to that. I've made a couple TikTok videos. I did this crazy intro to something that I can't play. I just, worked it out, worked on it for an hour and a half and got one good shot of it and put it on there. Yeah, man. And that's what a lot of this is. They work on it, they might work on it for a week before they get it right.
Sure, man.
But it's impressive what they do. But can they, like Max or me or you, get on a stage and keep people interested for 3 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
That's
not.
Difficult, man.
Yeah. So it's not all about, virtuosity. When you go play in a club, people want to hear Sweet Caroline so they can go bump, bump, bump. And that's just the funnest thing in the world. Right. And, I found that to be true too. If you just wheedle deedle all night, people get bored with it.
Yeah, man.
They do. They want to hear their songs that they like. And,
sure.
And I used to like sneak original songs in. I wouldn't say, hey, this is one of my songs. I just play it. And sometimes people would ask, hey, what was that song there? Oh, that's one of mine.
Yeah, but that's always a compliment when they think, was that a Willie Nelson song?
Yeah, I get mistaken for Willie Nelson all the time.
You do, man. Like I see that that long, like braided hair. It's just up under your hat right now. So there goes my questions.
We don't need no stinking questions.
Yeah,
we like yakking too much.
So where can we find out more about you as far as your music? I know we were talking about your book. It's going to be on Amazon. And tell me the name of it. It's one more time.
Alabama Alien Abduction.
Alabama Alien Abduction.
I wrote that way back in 2010.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and you can actually order it from Barnes & Noble. Does that still exist, Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, definitely. I just had coffee in one the other day.
Yeah. And, and all my music stuff it's on YouTube. Eric Frank Topic usually brings up all of it. I got 3 or 4 albums on there. The album that I did where we did our show, that was called Died from Exposure.
Yeah. That's a good one, man. Yeah, I love that. I love that album cover. You're just all laid out on it. Died from exposure.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. This friend of mine online, after I put out the Liberating Nature album, I was laying down in the yard on that one. He says, "You like to lie down a lot, don't you?" Yeah, it looks like it, don't it? So
it's like you're doing a gothic album where it's really tragic, but it's really silly.
So the Ain't No Blues Man album, I had to sit in a chair.
Oh yeah. You got to upgrade to an actual chair that time.
Yeah,
nice.
That was an album of blues songs because I started out doing that. That's what I started out doing, blues, like Johnny Winter stuff.
I love Johnny Winter.
Yeah.
Max is a huge Johnny Winter fan. You can tell it when he plays slide.
Yeah. And I like to do that too. There's a little more slide on this Center Lane Drivers thing than I've ever done.
Nice.
But I like to play slide. I just don't ever put it in my songs much. But anyway, so I started out playing blues. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a blues record all the way through. And there's some kind of, blues shuffles on there that's instrumental, but there's some songs that's got words. And I covered a Brian May song called Let Me Out. And it's got me and Darren and Buddy Faust, who passed away this year, on drums, Chuck Porter on bass, and Gary Sanders on second guitar.
Oh, okay.
I really should say Gary. First guitar because he smoked me.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm
sure he wouldn't say that.
He played some really
he's
good
a great
guitar on that
player,
song.
though.
Gary's awesome.
He is. And he's a cool guitar tech. I know my friend Jason Green, he's done some stuff. He made his Stratocaster into like a lean, mean one pickup machine with a speed knob on it. And
he does some cool builds. He's got some really cool guitars himself, but he played a really, really good lead part on that song. I like that song a lot. But May just re-released his version of it on the Starfleet thing. So maybe he won't sue me. I don't know. If he never sees it, he won't sue me, right?
Well, I think Gary was kind of like you. I remember going to Vinemont. He was a little older than me, but I remember him. Vinemont, he'd always have his guitar with him. Yeah. He was always all about that guitar. So I think he got started early too.
Yeah.
Just obsessed with it.
I figure, I don't know this for sure, but maybe he didn't have a life in high school too. Because that's what I did. I would sit down and learn a whole Jimi Hendrix album.
That takes a lot of work, man, to just sit in a room and practice.
Yeah. And I did it a lot when I was young, but I don't do it much now. I could be better, but I'm lazy about it. But it's hard to find time, You got kids and school band and school and work and
it's a lot,
all this stuff. You gotta got to make a living.
Oh, yeah. Man.
And if you're not willing to go out and play live, which I'm not really anymore.
So you hadn't really been playing live much lately, or?
Since COVID, it's been very sketchy.
It's been different, yeah.
It's just, I just got out of the habit, and it's kind of like, I'll turn down gigs.
Yeah.
People will call me, hey, can you get a band and come out here and play? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like for a friend, will say, can you bring your band and come play at my party? And I'll go, yeah, okay. And they'll pay me or whatever. But I'm just real picky about it. I don't like getting in situations anymore where there's a bunch of drunk people and they get the idea that I can play anything and they get mad when I can't play their song.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Man, it's so funny.
Can't know them all.
It's just, I think of all the many weird scenes of playing like a late night bar. Like, I just remember it was Sports Page. I think we were playing there one time. We were like breaking down, I was like rolling up a chord, and all of a sudden there was 5 dudes like fist fighting right in front of us. It's just so normal. You just keep rolling up your chord.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night.
I saw this fight once. Friendly Ed's in Pell City. We used to go there and play with this big band I was in. We'd finish our gig at where we were at and then drive to Pell City and play from 2 till 5. And they had a fight breaking out in there. And there was actually like the room where we were, and then the pool room was at the other end. You could see it through a door. And all of a sudden there was people and sticks and pool balls flying all over the place. It's like out of a movie. I'm like, what are they doing in there? And then I see Ed standing out in the middle of the room with a pistol.
Oh, man.
I'm like, wow, it's getting serious.
Yeah.
But, it got calmed down.
Wow.
But, yeah, it was a crazy place.
That is crazy.
Sometimes you get in a gig and get freaked out. We played once at a motorcycle club house.
Okay.
Not a biker bar,
but an actual motorcycle clubhouse. I got you.
And everybody had guns and everybody was drunk.
That's not a good combo.
I hope this goes right.
Yeah, right.
I hope they decide to pay us. But it worked out.
That's good.
But it was a little intimidating.
I tell you what, I used to, I don't have any anymore. I wish I still had it, but I rode a Harley for some years there. And man, some of the best people I met were motorcycle people.
Don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bad. But this particular place was rough. They were rough ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. For real. Yeah, there's only a certain number of them that are kind of like that.
Yeah, I know a whole bunch of people that ride bikes and wear all the stuff, and they're just really cool and nice as they can be.
Oh, yeah, man.
But this particular place, they weren't there. So
yeah, there's pockets.
Yeah.
They kind of do things differently.
It worked out all right.
That's good, man. I think all my years of playing punk rock and stuff, it desensitized me where I don't... Like, I remember Mike, it was kind of when I was in that transitionary period between punk rock and rockabilly, and we're playing in the Devastators, and Mike Tinnitus was playing bass, and he had that big upright bass, but at the bottom, the peg, he had that sharpened as like a spike. So he had that right there. So if somebody got too close, he could flip it up and block it.
He wasn't satisfied at just Nicky Six him. He's going to stab him,
exactly.
bayonet him.
So he was thinking ahead, just in case. He wasn't going to do that.
Holy moly.
It was just a preventative measure. But then, of course, that one gig, he had drank too much, and he'd borrowed a bass cabinet from somebody, and he went to set his drink up on that bass cabinet, which you shouldn't do anyway. If you borrowed. He did that, and we thought we were going to play first, but somehow we got moved around, so he'd been drinking too much.
Yeah.
He went to do that and fell, and the whole bass cabinet came down. And then halfway into our set, he couldn't even stand up. He's playing upright bass, but he couldn't stand up, so he was just laying in the floor playing.
But was he playing right?
He, for the most part, laying down bass is what I call it.
I worked with a bass player before. I'm not going to name names, but this dude, he would get blind drunk and never miss a note.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Miss a note.
I guess it's just muscle memory and just you've done it so many times. I don't do that anymore myself.
Yeah.
Sober over 9 years.
That's great. I'm proud of you for that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You had some dark times there and got off in it.
For sure, man. Yeah. I don't talk about that a lot, but I'm sure I'll be talking about it more on the podcast. But most of this stuff is just for fun and like trying to get. And a lot of the point of this is really just to talk about my awesome friends and just the cool stuff that's going on in the South. Yeah. And people think about the South, but they aren't from the South a certain way. And I want to change that, because it's different than what people think. Not everyone is the same. No,
I don't think I fit the stereotypes at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had people accuse me of being from Chicago. You're from up north somewhere. I said, I'm all the way north of Coleman.
That's why you keep talking about the Bears all the time. The Bears. You're always talking about, but yeah, and I came up with the name, and I talked to last episode, my friend James Irvin talked to him about this, but there's a movement in literature after the Civil War, and then actually later on they had a second wave, but it was called the Southern Renaissance. Yeah. And it was kind of like where they were getting away from the status quo and all the stuff, like the societal things that had, been sort of a, facade for things like that. And I think of my friends and people that are like that are sort of, they're great people, but they're going against the trends and the, like, bucking what you think of for that. And I want people to know about that.
Yeah, that's true. And it's good to know that, there is, like, with me being on socials, TikTok and Facebook and stuff, there is all these stereotypes about us. And there's a whole lot of us out here that don't fit them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just people in general that don't fit them.
You definitely do not.
You don't have to be creative or anything to not fit into that.
Yeah. So I'm just like, don't just be nice to people. Don't be a jerk. And they're going to be cool to you.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, man, is there anything else about how to find your stuff online or anything else? Links or anything?
I don't have a personal website. I've just got stuff up on my music's available like on most of the platforms. I think Center Lane Drivers is on Spotify, but my personal stuff is not. Okay. It's on all the other ones around the world. So, Apple Music or whatever. And
so
then
just
YouTube.
Eric Frank.
Yeah.
In the Google, and then it's going to pop up with a bunch of stuff.
There's also this funny thing. There was a Power Ranger named Eric Frank. So
I knew it was you.
Also an author named Eric Frank Russell. So if you put my name in there, it might take a couple of tries. But, on YouTube, it's Eric Frank Topic.
Eric Frank Topic. Yeah. And you're the Eric Frank from Boaz, Alabama.
Or Coleman or whatever.
From Coleman. You're from Alabama.
I don't ever specify I'm from Boaz, I don't think.
Okay.
But
we'll say you're from Alabama or the South or Earth.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Maybe. You might be.
Maybe.
But hey, man, I really appreciate you doing this and having me in here, man. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And it's
good times. I like catching up with you.
I know that's what's cool about it. I've got to see a lot of my friends I haven't really got to talk to in a while because of COVID and like you say, all that stuff. So I think the last time I saw you was when we did that gig.
We did that show
over at it was at
Gunnersville. Yeah. It was fun.
I just can't hear the word Gunnersville without thinking of the strutting that ass guy from YouTube.
I know, it's so funny.
Just, you always go 38 miles.
I wish that little gig, I did some logistical things wrong in it, but I think it was pretty good. I think we all played good and stuff. I liked your show a lot.
No, man, I thought the logistics were good. I thought your hammer dances and all your dance moves turned out great. Oh, you mean that? No, I thought it was
Did you like the backup dancer girls?
Yeah, it was good, man. Really good. I like that aluminum foil.
That's why we can't make it, Tony. We don't have any backup dancers.
That is good. Yeah, that is a good
Beyonce
feature.
has like 30 of them.
I think that's a good plan. It's because I can barely afford me to be there.
But you can do that keyboard stand thing.
That's true. That's
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was just glad you let me come out there. You were playing that cool band, and I just showed up with my weird synthesizer.
I just stand there and do this.
In my gold suit.
I don't even have a gold suit.
Oh, man. But you got the talent.
Thank you, man.
Well, hey, it's been a fun episode, and this is Southern Renaissance. We're going to get out of here, but thanks again, man, Eric, for being on here, and be sure to check out his stuff, check out his music, check out his book, and just check him out. He's good.
Thank you.
And y'all have a good one.
All right.